City Parks and Waterways Commission for Tuesday. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet last Thursday, and we can meet now. We'll start in the opening of the meeting. Do we have the tape recording?
Today's meeting is being streamed live on the Township of Ramara YouTube channel. Be advised that by attending a public meeting of the Commission, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded and will form a part of the public record. The Chair, CAO, or Secretary have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of live streaming in exceptional circumstances where the content of the debate is considered inappropriate to be published. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in unacceptable behavior or comments.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the adoption of the agenda and or agenda additions. Before I ask for recommendation, I don't see William, Commissioner Mason. Is he there?
I am here. Yes.
There you are. Okay. When you speak, okay, I see. I'll have to change the setting briefly. Recommendation of Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission, dated February 13, 2025, be adopted as presented. Somebody put on the floor for me.
February 18th, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, February 18th. Yes. For February 18th, somebody put on the floor for me, please. Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Shoesmith. All in favor? That's passed. The next one is the adoption of the minutes. The minutes of the meeting held on January 9th, 2025, Lagoon City Parks and Water Commission. Recommendations, Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission dated January 9th, 2025, be adopted as presented. Any discussion on that? Oh, sorry, put it on the floor first. Councillor Bell, second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? That's passed. Does anybody have disclosure of canary interest? Well, don't see anybody there. Open forum, we don't have any of that, so
no.
Open forum, none of that. Presentations, receiving petitions, deputations, we have none at this time. Accounts and budgets, 7.1. The recommendation of accounts vouchers dated January 31st, 2025, received as information. Put on the floor, please. Commissioner Mason, second by Councillor, or I guess Commissioner Shoesmith. Some discussion on that. Councillor Bell.
Thank you. Yes, I don't really have any direct or specific discussion other than to say that we're not seeing any of our invoices, and we have kind of gone back and forth through iterations of our account vouchers, where at one point we had them, then we didn't have them, and then we had them with, and now today we're having them without. And so I just, we can't really have any discussion when we don't have the vouchers to know what it is we're discussing. So I guess what I would probably say is just, can we defer receiving these until next month when the vouchers are there so that we can properly consider them? So I'd like to.
Yeah, I go ahead. Sorry, Councilor.
Yeah, so I want to have an amended recommendation there that it's deferred until the March meeting.
Yeah, I had some questions, but you're probably right to wait to get the receipts to understand the questions, right? Yeah. Would that be okay, Deputy Clerk? Or no, you're not. Are you? Is that your title, Deputy Clerk?
That's fine to defer the accounts voucher dated January 31st to the March meeting if Commissioner Mason and Commissioner Shoesmith are in agreement with that.
They're in agreement. Yes.
Okay. So vote. Okay.
So we'll just vote as we, and we'll just get
deferred.
Okay. So we're all in favor of deferring till our next meeting. Yeah, that's passed. Okay. I just want to make a note of the notes I have so I can bring it to the next meeting. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm going to be moving back and forth because all my information was on this computer, not this. So I have to get it all okay, so the next one we have, so all in favor, we've done that. Next one is 7.2, budget to actual report. Recommendation that the budget to actual report dated January 31st, 2025, received as information. Let me put it on the floor for me. Councillor Bell, second by Commissioner Mason. Discussion. Who would like to start on that? One question I have is, do we have a deputy treasurer here today? I'm
Yes, we
looking
do.
now. We do. Okay.
Hi, yes,
So
I'm here today.
Oh, it's Carly.
Yes.
Hi, Carly. Thank
Hi,
you.
Hal.
So I have a couple questions, right? And I unfortunately my information was on this computer, so I've wrote it down. One of the things I did notice was on the how do I wish I had it in front of me, was the actual for 2024 and the budget for 2024. I noticed there was a lot that were over, like a lot of items that were over on the 2024 budgets to the actual to what we budgeted. And when we budgeted for 2025, we used those numbers. And I'm wondering whether or not they need to be adjusted, because they're out by a couple $1,000s here and there. And I don't have it right in front of me because it's on this computer to actually identify it. But if you take a look, you can see that there's a difference there on a lot of the items.
Right, yeah, some of the items are over budget and then some are under budget. The overall impact in 2024 is a surplus of $372,000, 368 in this report. Numbers are still subject to change prior to the audit being completed. So this is the most up to date, but not finalized.
I guess what I'm concerned about, though, is that the numbers that we're using, let's say we had budgeted, say, $100,000 to do something, and it only costs us $75,000. We're utilizing that $25,000 as sort of putting us back in line. What I'm after is when we budgeted for 2025, I'd rather get those numbers more accurate, because this will change the other thing that we've talked about to bring us up has gone into reserves, possibly to do something else with it or do something else later.
I guess I'm not completely sure what your question is, like I can't confirm what the end surplus is, which I think is what you might be getting at to have an idea of what might be in reserves for 2025, but that can be confirmed when the audit is complete.
Right, but what I'm after is our individual items that went across when we did our budget. We used those numbers, and those numbers are not correct, like to the actual. So if they're out by $2,000 from last year, they're definitely going to be out more for next year, because they are numbers that are going to be there. We're going to be using yourself. We're going to be utilizing our clerks and everything. So if those numbers aren't correct, then they're going to throw everything off later on. So I'd like to get them correct. I just don't have it in front of me. After we can get back to this when I didn't print any of this off. I was going to use on my computer here, but I would like to get back to that and our budget. So just to make sure that we're budgeting properly. That's all.
Okay, so you're more so concerned about operating expenses. If we like budgeted, for instance, the same, like I'm looking at advertising and printing here. It's under budget this year, but we budgeted $22,000 in 2024. We budgeted again $2,000 in 2025. Is your concern that we kept and maintained a budget that might not be in line with what our
That's what I'm
actuals
concerned
are?
with. Yeah, because
I
there's some
understand.
that are like $4,000 or $5,000 off. And I added just roughly in my head about $20,000-$30,000 there. And I just wanted to make sure we could put them in the right spot. And I know we're under budget on everything, but there's some things that we didn't do. Some of the things we did were under budget on the cost, and it's a cost that we won't get for next year, the year after. It's a one-time cost. Or say cutting trees down. That'll happen once every 5 or 6 years, right? That we have to do that. And when the costs are really high, but we came in lower, we're adding them to the actual. So anyways, that's all I had about it. I want to take a look at the budget. I'll break the numbers down and send them to you afterwards if you want what I was looking at.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have sure, Councillor Bell?
Thank you. Yes, I have a couple of language things, and then I have another item. So we always have this line item called duckweed, and I think that I have already confirmed that duckweed is actually the canal spraying, I think. And I have asked before, and I'm just going to ask again because I think it just got lost in conversation, but duckweed is a very specific, and it speaks to one kind of plant, aquatic plant. So I'm going to ask again if we can please change that category to be reflective of what it actually is, because it wouldn't just be duckweed. So I know that'll probably be Chris who can come up with a better terminology to describe what that particular component of the canal care is. So I want to have that updated, please. And also we have the line item bubbler house. It's not a bubbler house, it's a clean flow house. And that's just another language change that we've been standardizing our language across all our documents so that the consistency of helping residents understand what it is we're doing in the waterways. So we've asked also this too, and it's just, you know, we ask in different times at different places. So it's no upset or anything, but just if we can please update that so it also speaks to clean flow houses. So those are just language changes. And then the other thing, the bigger thing though, is the 8-ton excavator has not been removed from the budget. The 92.5, if you'll recall, it had been a presentation on the part of infrastructure who had been recommending the potential that we would be able to split the piece of equipment with the township. Township Council didn't have the appetite for that. And as a result, in December, the Parks and Waterways Commission then returned the 92.5 to reserves, and yet it's still here. So I think it's just not caught up yet. So I'm just going to ask if we can please return that 92.5 back to reserves. That needs to be updated. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sherry. I'll just comment on some of your changes. So the duckweed, what was the name changed going to be updated to?
I'm hoping Chris will give us a better piece of language to use, but I believe that duckweed category reflects the annual herbicide spraying. And so I think that would be a more appropriate, but I can see his hand up. So if he, if he can speak.
Sorry guys, my video is shut off right now, so I can't get on. So Sherry, I'm not sure, sorry, Councillor Bell, I'm not sure if you look, in 2025, duckweed had actually been removed from the budget as a line item at this point in time. So, so it's not there now with any budget attached to it in 2025. So it has been removed already.
Okay.
I just don't know if we look back at 2024 vouchers, we'll know what was utilized in that account, but it is eliminated in 2025. It's not there now currently. So it was removed this budget year.
Okay, thank you. I knew we had conversation. I just wonder still if we can expand the category. Yeah, once you look to see what it actually was, because I don't think it's clear to people what, you know, just what duckweed by itself meant. But thank you. Sure,
I'll look at the vouchers and try and bring something back for next meeting there.
Thank you. Just so when people are looking at the historical, they understand what it is they paid for. And I know it's not a big amount, but I just, for clarity, thank you.
Sherry, just for clarity, if I remember correctly, everybody seemed to refer to it as duckweed was the green slime that was backed up by the booms in behind the old Kegger restaurant there. And I think I remember everybody referred to that as duckweed, like all that green sort of floating stuff that was in there. That was where it was referred to.
Yeah, and that's why, and I don't know, right? So I'd like if we just can update it, just so for when people are looking at previous budgets, they know. That's
absolutely,
all.
Absolutely, call it by the right thing. Yeah.
I think that was
anything else?
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, if we're talking language, we write the word footbridge differently everywhere. So sometimes it's 2 words and sometimes it's 1. So if we can just maybe have consistency on that too. And I know it's small, but it just, yeah, I just like consistency, I guess. So whichever way we have it, is the way we should have it. However, we have it displayed on our page at lcpwc at ramara.ca. That's probably how I'd want to see it displayed in the budget, just for clarity. And that's all. So it's just language and the excavator. That's all I had specifically today. Other than I know you have questions in the overall, but I think once you go back to Carly next month, we'll be able to dig in deeper.
Yeah, I just was going to ask Carly whether or not she had anything more to discuss about what your first discussion. Like there was a few more items that she talked about. Carly, did you have any more questions about that?
I made notes. So bubbler house, we can change that to the clean flow. Footbridge will maintain a consistent approach to either do 1 word or 2 words. Sherry mentioned matching what was done in the 2025 budget. And the reserves transfer, was that approved at a previous meeting? It would need to be approved at a meeting for me to make an entry.
Yes, it was. It was approved in December.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll look back at previous meetings and I can make an entry to transfer the $92,500 back to reserves.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. All in favor? Do I have to make any motions in there?
You've got a mover and a seconder, Commissioner Johnson.
Okay. So, all in favor? That's passed. Do we have any items of information? No. Unfinished, items of information, Councilor Bell.
Thank you. Yes, I do. This is a procedural question. So when we go into closed session later, we so far at this point have it identified as solicitor-client matter with respect to Bertrand and Township of Ramara court decision. And I guess my question is, that's a township matter, and we have not received it as information. It was received by the Council of the Township of Ramara, but not the Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission. So I guess my question is, do we need to receive something before we can go in and have a discussion about it? Because if so, then it should be an item of information that we're receiving here. So I guess that's to the clerk.
I'll defer that to our solicitor, Mr. Ewart.
There we are. Thank you, Councillor Bell. If there's been no information received, then it should in fact be received, as you indicate, before we go into close to discuss. So that should be an item that should be received for information.
Thank you. So because it's not there now, can I just, under unfinished or new, can I ask to receive it there and then proceed with any other unfinished or new? Just,
Yes, that would be appropriate. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have anything else on items of information, Councilor Bell?
No, but then I'll have a number at unfinished then, or new. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody else have anything there? Okay, unfinished or new business. We'll start with, I guess, unfinished business then.
Does anybody else have, before I start prattling on? Maybe I shouldn't always.
You know what? For some reason, I lost William here. I lost Councilor. If you just speak for a minute, I think you'll come back up on my screen. Is he there? Can you see him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
you're here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see it. All right. So just speak if you need my attention. I just can't see you right now.
Okay.
There you are. Okay. So we've done that. Okay. So does anybody else have any unfinished business before Councilor Bell speak? No. Okay. Councilor Bell, you got the floor.
Thank you very much. Okay, so and the first thing I would like to put on the floor for new business is that we receive the reasons for decision in the matter of Bertrand versus Township of Ramara court decision. Jen, do I need to have that court file number? Would you like me to have that as well? CV 21212, I have it here.
CV 21212, yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, so that would be the motion I'm putting on the floor, that the Parks and Waterways Commission received the reasons for decision. So I guess I would need a seconder for that.
So you're doing this as new business. You're doing new business now, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. It's unfinished and new. I was going to start with unfinished. We'll do new business.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. So somebody put it on the floor. I don't see anybody's hand. I don't see William's hand.
Yes, I will.
You
I'll
moved it.
second.
You're
I'll second.
seconding it?
Yeah.
Okay. So discussion then, I guess, right?
Yeah, and from my perspective, I'm not sure what our discussion is, because this, for me right now, the first thing is just receive and then move on, because we can't, there's things in that, but I'm not sure that they're going to be a separate discussion. So
Okay,
for me,
so
it's
let's
just receive and then.
So we're going to receive it then. Okay. All in favor, unless you guys have something else to no. All in favor
Yes.
to receive it? That's passed. I can see you now, Wayne.
Okay.
For some reason, you're the one that leaves me all the time. Okay, so let me just write that down. So, Clark, Jen, you got that information in? You have
Yes, I
that?
did.
Okay, perfect. Next.
Okay, so the next piece is, I gotta spam my screen here. So now that we've received those reasons for decision, the reasons for decision indicated some questions, and last month we adjourned the meeting noting that we needed clarity on roles and responsibilities. And I think it's important that we acknowledge as a commission and as a township as well, that we recognize we we know that, and that we know that we need to find some clarity on our roles and responsibilities. And specifically in the reasons for decision, section 176 reads, the importance of the commission cannot be understated. As the evidence on this application shows, shore walls are an integral part of Lagoon City, and their design and repair require specialized expertise. In its wisdom, the legislature, in enacting the Ramara Act, envisioned a committee which, while its members would not be required to have a specialized expertise, would be focused on the shore walls as part of the land or easements conveyed to the township. The commission is and was intended to be a separate and independent body from the township, to recognize that the management, maintenance, regulation, and control of the shore walls and other lands conveyed should be carved out of the township's other business. Township will authorize to delegate any or all of those powers to the commission under section 5.1 of the Ramara Act. And so I'm raising this because I think it's important that we together and collaboratively acknowledge that we know we need to look at those reasons for decision, those roles and responsibilities. So I see we're going into a closed session, and I think we have more. Right now, the closed session is specifically saying to talk about those reasons for decision, but what it's not saying is to talk about some of these other pieces. So I just want to expand on the reasons that we're going into closed session, and maybe John will hop in if I'm looking the wrong way at the Municipal Act, but I just want to make sure that we have the right exceptions so that when we go in, the discussion is appropriate, and also so that when we come out, we know what to do. And so I think that we need to also include that it's held for the purpose of educating or training the members, so that we can start to dig into this and figure out what does that mean and where do we go when we come. And then that's one piece. And so I'm not sure how to do the motion, so I'll talk, and then hopefully somebody will clarify, because this is uncharted territory for me too. The other thing is, when we have discussions about roles and responsibilities, and we're trying to decide as far as, if the shore wall piece, how does it work and who does it belong to, then it would stand to reason that some of the other pieces, the question would be the same. How does it work and who does it belong to from what aspect? And so there is another conversation related to levy. And so I also would like to expand that so that we're going in under section or exception B as well, personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, because I think that's the right exception, but I'm not sure, because it will be talking about an identifiable individual. So I just would like to broaden those definitions, and or those reasons that we're going in, and I'm not sure if I need to have a motion to do that or how that works. So that is the question to the clerk, I guess, again.
I do believe that is all umbrella under solicitor client regarding this matter. So I think the one solicitor client exception will allow for the discussion.
Okay, because it just says the Bertrand matter, and then this is going to be about things other, and that's why I'm concerned.
It's regarding the decision, right? And that's all part of the decision.
The levy's not. And then the roles and responsibilities, I guess, yes.
Yes.
Probably, yeah. And then, but the levy, probably not. Or maybe, like they're tied together, so I don't know. I don't know.
I'd defer to Solicitor Ewart on this.
Sorry, Councillor Bell, I'm having difficulty with my audio. Could you repeat that again, please, ma'am?
I have to raise another matter, and while it is going to be tied to roles and responsibilities, it does have an identifiable person attached to it. So I don't know if we just need to broaden the reason that we're going in, because right now it specifically says to discuss the Bertrand v. Township matter, and then these roles and responsibilities may arise from that, but they're not that. And then this levy question may arise from the notion of the roles and responsibilities, but again, it's not that. So I'm just not sure if we need to broaden the reason why we're going into closed session to make sure that we do it right.
Yeah, but firstly, through the chair, I think it needs to be broadened. The question is, can you do it at this stage? Because we're using two different sections of the act now. So identifiable individuals, as I understand, it's 239(2)(a). I think if we're going to raise this, and that's not been identified on the agenda, that may pose a problem. That's my concern. I think if there's going to be identifiable individual spoken about, that's outside of what the agenda was posted, Councillor Bell. I'd be reluctant to say that we can just expand it at this stage.
Okay, so I guess we can leave the specific part until the next meeting, and then just the notion of the roles and responsibilities will cover the general. So, okay, I just want to make sure that we're doing it right and that I don't say anything wrong when we get in there. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. That was that one. And then the next I have is under the unfinished. In 2021, there was the matter of the levy amendment as a result of the request on the part of Parks and Waterways to equalize the short-term rentals with the levy that was being apportioned to the hotel. So that all completed, and then that shore wall bylaw was subsequently passed in November of 2022. It actually didn't come back to the commission to be received at that time, which is it's just a bylaw. I know that, and then it also has not been posted at our page at ramara.ca. So I guess I have two pieces to that. Number one is to request that it be posted with all the other legislation on our webpage. And then number two is we often have the question, how is the levy calculated? And I know that it says it in the bylaw, but for the average person to read it, they don't necessarily understand the calculation. So what we've seen is, for example, in the past, previous Deputy Clerk Wainman had done a little chart for the Lagoon City Yacht Club and just showed them how that calculation was broken down. And what I'm going to be requesting of Carly, I guess, is a little chart is made up that shows how that calculation is done in a real way that residents can read and understand. So it says, it's this times that equals that. And it's laid out in a way that is easy to digest for the average person, because we often have had questions about how that levy calculation is done. So yeah, it's a two-part thing to have it posted and then to have a visual map of what the levy looks like on the part of finance, just creating us a document. So I guess those are motions I'm making.
Could you word those in a motion, please?
Yeah, that the bylaw 2021.87 be posted to the Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission's page at ramara.ca, and that finance prepare a diagram indicating how the levy is calculated in real numbers. And I hope, Carly, that makes sense. I hope that's a
So can you, so you want them to give you information on how the levy is that we charge is calculated?
Not me, no, residents. So for example, and Commissioner Mason did have to forward to me to last year and again, or 2 years ago and again this year, I'm not sure, asking that the Lagoon City Yacht Club wants to see. So for example, it would say, this many square feet, this many slips equals this. So these are numbers that are in the public domain, right? But it's just residents don't necessarily understand how the calculation is made. So you have the hotel, you have the marina, you have an individual. Mine's easy, it's 1 times, but it's that when we get into how many times based on square footage or how many times based on number of slips or whatever it is, that's where residents don't understand. So Deputy Clerk Wainman had at one point sent us over just a nice little, table, and it just said this times this equals that. And it helped the residents visually see and understand how the levy calculation looks.
So referring then to the sailboat said that I know myself, I just figured out when I looked at it was how many slips they had times what our levy was for each slip.
I understand that, Cal, but the residents don't necessarily, like, they can't visually see that. So for a resident, they would have to go to the MARA Act, open it, or the bylaw, open it, try to figure it all out. Whereas if we just had a chart up there that said it's this times this equals that, it's this time, or a table, this times this equals that, this times this equals that, it gives a clear visual. Yeah, that's all I'm requesting.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
So that's a motion. So I guess I need to have it.
A mover and a second.
Somebody, well, the second by Commissioner Mason. I think we've discussed it, but we can discuss it more. It's pretty straightforward from what I can see. I don't see an issue with that at all. All in favor? That's passed.
Thank you.
You know, can I just go backwards a little bit with you? When we were talking, I guess, because I thought you were going to continue more on it, on when we go into the closed session. If we're in closed session and we find that we run into things that should be in an open session, right? Can we come out of our closed session and go back to that?
Or you can put them in on another agenda, Commissioner Johnson.
We would have to put it on another agenda. We couldn't go back and talk about it. So if we find that,
it depends what it is.
so if it's something that's on the agenda, then we can go back and talk about it. Because if something we find out in there we need to deal with, I'd like to deal with it because we've been a few months now, and to deal with it is because I don't really want to call another meeting just to talk about a few things, right? And I just want to make sure we can go back and new business and or whatever way we go. Okay.
Right,
sorry, I just wanted to confirm that because I have a lot of questions and I'm not sure if it's should be in a closed session or should be an open session. So what might happen in there, I'll be told to go to it has to be an open session. I have no problems with that, but I just need to know that we can go back and talk about it again. Right? Okay. I'm sorry, Councillor Bell.
Thank you. No, that's okay. It's good to make sure that I just want to make sure we do everything right. So the next one I have is a request that we can please receive bylaw 2001.50, which is referenced in 2021.87, the levy bylaw, when the amended bylaw was established. It references 2001.50, which was the bylaw that established the Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission, and we don't have that bylaw. So I am requesting that we can please receive 2001.50, which will clearly pertain to the conversation around roles and responsibilities. So we will need that to be able to move forward. So I'd like to request that we can please receive that, and then probably it would be posted as well, but we have to. Yeah, I guess, I mean, you would receive it, and it would be, if it is the current legislation, it should also be posted at ramara.ca with our current legislation. So it would be, again, that we receive bylaw 2001.50 and that it be posted at the Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission page at ramara.ca. So that's my motion.
That's all public information. Yeah.
It is, right? But has the commission read 2005.50? Do we need to put that on an agenda to review it and then receive it?
We've never seen it.
That's my point.
From my perspective, yeah.
That's my point, Councillor Bell. Should we be putting on a future agenda so that you can receive it with an informed decision?
Yes. Did you want? Yeah. So amend my motion that we receive bylaw 2001.50. Yeah.
No, that we place bylaw 2001.50 on the next agenda for review, so that then you can receive it as information.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it'll show up in our next
yes.
Yeah, our next one. That would
so work. I guess
so your motion could be that we place bylaw 2001-50 on the next agenda.
Okay, thank you. And I guess on that, I probably then would just say since it may pertain to roles and responsibilities, it may also mean that we would potentially need a solicitor back at the meeting again. So I guess we'll have to see when the agenda comes out where that goes. Okay, perfect. So that's my motion then. Thank you.
Did you want to read that motion, Jen?
That bylaw 2001.50 we placed on the next agenda for review.
Hey, somebody second it. Commissioner Shoesmith. Do you have any questions, guys? Any? No? All in favor? That's passed.
Okay, one more thing. This one's lighter and a little bit more fun. We had we had the Waterside Wisdom series last year. Just with changing, it got kind of pushed ahead, and then we didn't get them all done in the summer. And we had initially agreed that we would all submit suggestions for March, and then now we've missed the February meeting. So I guess one thing I would like to amend that to as well, to say April, just to give everybody time since we missed a meeting. And then, but I already know that I'm going to recommend that we have Bob Bowles come back and do this time invasive species, so that I can submit that suggestion today. But also maybe just if we can lengthen that timeline to April, just so that everybody has a chance to consider and think about bringing some different things in this year.
Okay, so the motion you want to put forward.
Yeah, mover and a seconder for that.
Let's put the motion on the floor. The mover would be, I guess yourself, and second by Councillor or Commissioner Mason. So on discussion on that, you want to have different people come. Like I like the wisdom. I like the way it was done. I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people did enjoy it, and I learned a lot myself personally. So I think it's a great idea. And yeah, if we can think of different people to invite, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just want to, because I think we, because we missed a meeting, it might have got lost in the shuffle. And I know everybody, when we had talked about it, said, let's come up, everybody put your heads together and think of some different ideas. So I happened to be up at the Nature Center. And so I was able to have say, what would you guys suggest if we were able to bring you in? And the last time we did the pollinator gardens, which I've reused that presentation over and over and over again. And I was able to share that with Bob Bowles. So he thought maybe invasive species, so we can get more specific about what's here around our waterways. So that's why I'm suggesting that one. And I haven't, that's the only one I have to bring today myself. So that's why I'm recommending maybe if we just go to April, it'll give us all time to think about it and come up with some different ideas.
I really enjoyed that. I was unfortunately he wasn't able to come back last year and talk about other things. And I almost wonder whether or not the Conservation Authority should be just like a standard one that we bring in every year, because they're always good to talk to and they are interesting.
Yeah, they always have great new topics.
Yeah. Okay, so you putting a motion on the floor? We've already done that. Okay. So any more discussion on it? All in favor? That's passed.
And then one final, it's just one final. I'm sorry. I know I'm prattling on here.
Just a point of note, our solicitor has a hard stop at 11 a.m. So
okay. So this is a quick one. It's just a question to Chris. The lighting on the South Footbridge. Do you have any update? Contractor, I know we were looking for the contractor and all that, and I'm not sure where we are.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dig deep into that now, Councillor Bell, and hopefully be able to bring something back, maybe on the infrastructure update in March, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. So if we can just capture that, so because there's residents asking, so if that could make the highlights that we asked the question and that we anticipate a report in March, please and thank you. And then yes, that's all.
We can come back to it if you would like to, I think we should get to John to speak to our lawyer, but if we want to, if you have anything Commissioner Mason and Commissioner Shoesmith to talk about, we can come back out and talk about that. Just let me know. Okay. So we're going to move away from that. So we've done all our motions. So we're going to a closed session now. And the recommendation that Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission enter closed session, of course, with section 239 2F of the Municipal Act. The recommendation is that Lagoon's, okay, so I'll read that when we come out. I guess I should read this other one. 10.1, the solicitor client matter with respect to Bertram versus Township of Ramara Count decision. Recommendation will receive the update. We'll read that when we come
Johnson, out. The only motion that you need to pass right now is that we enter into closed session in accordance with section 239 2F of the Municipal Act.
Okay, so I don't have to read all that. Okay, so somebody put that on the floor for me. Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Shoesmith. All in favor going to closed session? We're going into closed session. Okay, let me see. I get everybody. Okay, coming out of closed session at 11:49. The recommendation is that we receive the update from Solicitor John Ewart regarding solicitor's client matter with respect to Bertram versus Township of Ramara Court decision, and staff proceed as directed. So let me put on this on the floor for me. Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Shoesmith. Any discussion? All in favor? That's passed. And then we're heading to close session, or we're finishing. Recommendations of Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission rise and report from the closed session at
11:49.
11. Oh yeah, I keep saying 11:50. All in favor? Okay, we're finished. Okay, guys, have a great day.
Oh, Commissioner Johnson, you have to read the motion. Sorry. apologize.
Adjournment, sorry, my adjournment now. I gotta do the adjournment. Adjournment that the Lagoon City Parks and Waters Commission is adjourned at probably a
Cal?
minute more.
Cal, Chris
Oh.
looks like he's waving.
Oh, Chris?
Sorry, guys. Just during the break, we were in closed. We did a little research in regards to duckweed that you were inquiring about, Councillor Bell. I don't know if we want to clear that up today or wait till March. It's up to you guys, whatever
We
you
can
want.
wait till March, Chris.
Okay, fair enough. We'll wait till March.
Thanks, Chris. Recommendation Lagoon City Parks and Waterways Commission adjourned at, gonna add another minute, 11:51. All in favor? Oh, no, I need people on the floor first. What do I want? Councillor Bell and Commissioner Mason. All in favor? That's passed. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your day.
Bye,
Hopefully it's not
everybody.
too cold. All right, take care.